Yesterday was the day. John Wick, Chapter 4, finally. After years. How long ago did we say the last one was?
2019.
2019, 4 years since Winston shot John Wick off that roof. Can't believe it. 4 years. And John Wick Chapter 4 finally returned with a number of new characters, including Donnie Yen, who is freaking awesome in this movie.
Yes, sir.
Look, Ray and I did a quick out of the theater reaction to this movie yesterday. This movie is a masterpiece of its genre. And I'm not saying it's a master. I'm not comparing it to The Godfather, but of its genre, of the action, gun fu kind of whatever genre. This is a master. This is a Picasso. This is violence personified perfection. And I was real damn nervous going into this movie, man, about the 3-hour runtime, because it can become exhausting. And I will admit up front, there are a couple of the action sequences that maybe did feel like they went a little too long. I've seen that criticism, and you know what? I acknowledge that criticism, because I think you do have a point. I think there are a couple of parts in this movie where maybe the action sequences stretch on for too long. But the action sequences are so good. And I've heard somebody say, some of the action moves that Wick pulls, some of them become a little bit repetitive. Well, because that's how a real fighter would do it. A real fight, like if John Wick actually had techniques that worked, you would see if he's going to have 150 fights, several of those fights will have a similar move that he pulled in a previous one, because that's how it would really be. But the fight sequences are masterful, absolutely masterful. And I'll tell you what, the cinematography of this movie, there's a scene in this movie where they decide to go the whole movie feels like a video game, but where they kind of go full video game mode, where the camera starts here, right? Looking at the action, and then it starts to elevate and goes over top, and it becomes a top-down view as they're moving from room to room in this place, and crazy fights and violence is going on that, I lost count of how many times, me, Ray, and Ann sitting side by side, I totally lost count of how many times in this movie all of us went, whoa! When something oh my God, like a guy falling down, his face smashing on a step or something, I'm going, ah! So many moments, and I completely lost the body count. At the beginning of the movie, I started thinking to myself, you know what? I'm going to just in the back of my head keep a little counter. I'm going to count how many people John Wick kills. I had to stop after 5 minutes. I completely lost count.
And the sounds of the blasters too, the impact of every type of a blaster they used. And I say
love
blasters
how you call
only,
guns blasters.
Yeah. It's only because I don't like to use the other word, but
okay,
blasters, just the impact. You could tell what the amount of damage it would do.
They would all do. The sound design in this movie so adds to the overall experience. Just look at this shot. Look at the beauty. This whole, the cinematography in this, there's a movie called, that I think, it's a Jet Li movie that I think Donnie Yen is also in, called Hero. I can't remember if Donnie Yen's in that movie or not. I think he is. Anyway.
So.
There's a movie called Hero with Jet Li that had North American release.
He's in it.
And it's a really good movie. I don't think it's one of the best movies ever made, but it's a really good movie. But it is the most beautiful movie I've ever seen. Every single frame of Hero is a work of art. You could literally take any frame from that movie, blow it up, print it, and hang it on your wall as art. John Wick Chapter 4 is actually quite similar. Not as much as Hero was, but the locations and the set designs, and it's just gorgeous to look at. There's a scene even when Winston is walking down a hallway, and everybody in the theater is just going, wow. Just from the...
Oh, yeah, that part.
Yeah, it's just crazy, beautiful, and gorgeous. Their choice of location, the way they position the cameras, the way they choreograph the movement, it was brilliant. So sound design, top shelf.
You know what sound is running through my head still?
The footsteps?
No. My favorite sound in the movie is the sword blocking a bullet. It's just, and then you're... or whatever.
Every sound, man. Every sound. So sound design, top shelf. Cinematography, top shelf. Choreography, top shelf. I mean, just from a technical perspective, this movie is world class. Now, is the story, by the way, Scott Adkins there in the blue suit. All right. I knew he of course, he was on the show of like, he appeared on the show here a couple months ago when we were talking. He mentioned that he was in the new John Wick and all kind of stuff. And I didn't know what he was doing. He's in one of the trailers. You may not know it's him, but he's Zikilla. The guy with the gold teeth. That's Scott. He's in one of the trailers as the character basically he plays Kingpin in a way, but his name is Zikilla.
He's great.
And he's awesome. He's so awesome. In this, it's absolute. I just ate it up. It's so great. He's got a great action sequences in this that are just top shelf. Absolutely. Now let's talk about Donnie Yen for a second. The backstory they gave for what leads to the conflict between John Wick and Donnie Yen's character is brilliantly laid out. Because I bought, as a viewer, this is inescapable. Mm-hmm. This circumstance they are in is inescapable.
They're all over.
It's a catch-22 for both of them, and I'm not going to say what it is, but all the roads are going to lead to them confronting each other, right? And it's solidly laid out. Now, the overall story, narrative part has not always been the strongest part of the John Wick franchise. I still think the mythology of the world they've built is incredible. Of the high table, the continental, the markers, all that kind of stuff. The mythology they've built around this world is insane. But Donnie Yen, you hear a lot of people saying he kind of stole the show. In many ways, he did. He was absolutely fantastic. Everybody who's in this movie, it's just so cool. Everything about this movie is just dripped in coolness. I mean, again, talk about cinematography and the set design and all that kind of stuff. This image itself. And Donnie Yen is now perfecting a new art craft of playing blind warriors. That's what he does. That's all Donnie Yen does now. He plays blind warriors. But damn it, he does it well. I don't like Daredevil's chances against, what was his character's name again? Kane.
Kane. Sorry. I was concentrating.
Listen, I'll straight up tell you right now. I do not like Daredevil's chances against Kane. In a blind action hero tour de force battle royale, I don't think it ends well for Daredevil.
There's also there's another character or a couple other characters that they introduced which were impactful too. His name is Shamir Anderson.
Oh, the tracker?
The tracker.
Oh, the tracker.
Mr. Nobody.
The guy with the dog. Because, of course, every John Wick movie needs a dog. This is one of the best dogs that they've had in the John Wick franchise.
Yeah.
So they treat the dog. There's a couple of moments in the middle, and I'm not going to reveal them, but I'm just going to say, there's a couple of moments in the movie where the dog is almost treated like the monster in an 80s horror movie. Like, I won't explain it at all. It just is
the
pretty
use of that was
damn
genius.
Great. And then you got Bill Skarsgård as the Maquis. Like, he's great.
Yeah,
and
Joe Burrow.
I wanted Joe Burrow. Ray kept calling him Joe Burrow. See if you can find a picture of Bill Skarsgård and Joe Burrow and put them up side by side. Because
he just reminds me of him. Just
I know.
His face,
we're driving. It's like, damn, Joe Burrow, why are you doing it like that? Because he plays a great, frightening, intimidating, and detestable villain that you just hate and you want to see him die. And of course, Lawrence Fishburne is always great. Ian McShane is as great as ever. Actually, I think I liked Ian McShane in this John Wick more than I've ever seen him in this thing. He was absolutely fantastic about it as Winston. It's got oh my God. And you keep thinking when you see these action, you're thinking like, how will this, you can't get more bonkers and crazy than this first action scene. And then they elevate it, 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 and then they elevate it. And it comes to this climax and you're like, what the freaking hell?
I'm a little
I'm
off.
telling you, it's not far off.
It kind of reminded me throughout the whole film.
Bill Skarsgård, NFL quarterback. But man, I'm telling you, it is now my favorite of the John Wick films. Now the overall mythology and whatever, there's a little bit more emotionality in John Wick Chapter 1. By the way, how good. That's Hamada, right?
Oh, yeah, him, too.
No,
Scorpion.
his last name's not Hamada.
Scorpion.
What's this actor's name? Taylor, look that up again.
Looking it up right now.
Why am I freezing on it? But anyway, he was also just recently in Bullet Train. He was so good in Bullet Train. Anyway.
Don't say Sonata?
He was, what's that?
Sonata.
Sonata, not Hamada. Sonata, thank you.
Hiroyuki Sonata.
Again, every character in this movie just oozes cool. So cool. It is almost a parody of something, but put in such a cool, I don't know, man. It is hard to express just how much fun I had at this movie. It was great. Like, Ray, you saw it with me. You enjoyed yourself a great deal, yes. Would you say it's your favorite of the month, or do you think maybe Creed is your favorite? Like, what do you think?
It's between those two, and it's still between John Wick 1 and John Wick 4. I hate to use this word, but it's like, and I'm sorry if it offends anyone, but this movie traumatized me in a good way. Like, I mean, like I'm not an action gung fu kind of guy, and so I haven't seen a lot of the Asian movies. Maybe they've been doing some of this stuff too.
Right.
But some of the things I saw in this movie will forever be embedded in my head. Like, I was just thinking about it when I woke up this morning. Just some of the scenes. I was like, that's crazy. I give it up to all the stunt guys that were on this film. They did a lot. And Keanu Reeves, what is he, pushing 60? Almost, or 50 something.
Oh, he's in his 50s. He's definitely in his 50s. I don't know. I don't think he's getting
58 years old.
He's getting
great.
close to 60.
It showed you the scope of the table in this.
Yeah.
I love that there was a resolution here. And I love that even against all odds, being 3 hours, and me after the third one saying, I don't need another one. I needed this.
Yeah.
You know what? I thought I didn't need any more because I thought I saw enough. Like, and then they said, oh, it's 3 hours of what you had enough of. I was like, no, man, I'm going to probably not like this movie. It's just going to ruin it. This movie is the best of the year along with Creed so far for me.
And by the way, I'd be reminiscent if I didn't mention Clancy Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Who, because one of my top 10 favorite films of all time, as everybody knows, is The Highlander, the original Highlander. And Clancy Brown, the Kurgan. He's also in another one of my top 10 all-time favorite films, in Shawshank Redemption, as the main prison guard guy. He has got a voice of thunder. And he's like the representative of the high table. And so when he speaks...
And he played it so well.
Oh, he played it so well.
No matter what happened, nothing phased him.
Nope, nothing phases him. And he doesn't take crap from nobody.
All business, baby.
Just that thunderous voice of his, I just absolutely love. The dude is fantastic. Anyway, guys, John Wick Chapter 4. If you have not gone out to see it yet, make plans this weekend. If you have other plans, change them. Go see John Wick Chapter 4. It's just a hell of a good time. Anyway, guys, did you have a chance to see it so far? If so, what did you think about it? If you haven't, where's your expectations? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and leave us your thoughts. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Fume. Be smart. Don't start. Kick the habit. Put it out before it puts you out. All phrases we've heard 100 times, yet we still continue to have bad habits. And I know all of you guys completely relate with me when I say kicking bad habits feel like it's impossible. Well, thankfully, our sponsor Fume is on a mission to accelerate humanity's breakup from the bad habits that consume far too many of us. Fume is a natural diffusive device that uses plants and behavioral science to help you trade out your negative habit for a positive one. And understand, Fume is not a vape. It's a non-electronic device designed to transform your negative habits. Instead of pods filled with potentially harmful chemicals like a vape, Fume uses cores infused with plants like peppermint and cinnamon for delicious natural flavors. And Fume's new version 2 model is snappy and tactile. The easiest way to stop a bad habit is to switch to a positive one, and Fume is designed perfectly to do just that. It's Fume's goal to make switching easy and even enjoyable. They have thousands of 5-star reviews from people just like you who've successfully switched when other solutions simply don't work. So head to tryfume.com and use the code Campea to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. The Journey Pack comes with 3 unique flavors and the new version Tomb Fume to help kickstart your positive habits. That's tryfum.com and use the code Campea to save an additional 10% off on your order today.